My name is Elise, and I'm 29. Last month in my quiet Portland apartment, I heard my heartbeat for the first time in years. My cochlear implant worked, pulling me out of silence. It was like waking up in a new world. But I didn't tell my family. Something held me back, a whisper of doubt about how they'd react. Why did I keep it secret? I wasn't sure then, but what I heard next changed everything. Have you ever held on to a truth to protect yourself? I'm curious where you're watching from. Like and subscribe to share your thoughts. I'm Elise, and it's been a week since my cochlear implant started working. I'm at my parents' house in suburban Portland for Sunday dinner, the kind of gathering that used to feel warm but now makes my stomach knot. The dining room smells of roasted chicken and garlic, and the table's set with Mom's old blue plates. I sit across from my sister Clara, her auburn hair tied back, her hands moving fast as she signs to me. I nod, pretending I'm still relying on her gestures, but I hear every word she doesn't mean for me to. Clara's husband Aaron is next to her, his laugh loud as he talks about his new job. Mom Diane bustles in with a bowl of mashed potatoes, her smile tight. Dad Harold is at the head of the table, sipping his coffee, quiet as usual. Then there's Josie, Clara's friend from college, who I've only met once before. She's all sharp angles and quick smiles, sitting to my right, her perfume sharp in my nose. I'm careful, keeping my eyes on their lips like I always have, signing my responses with deliberate slowness. My heart's racing, though, because I can hear the clink of forks, the soft hum of the fridge, and something else whispers. Clara leans toward Aaron, her voice low, thinking, I can't catch it. I do. She's been such a burden, you know, Clara says, her words slicing through the chatter. I had to turn down that promotion in Seattle because Mom needed me here for her. Aaron nods, his mouth full. Yeah, I get it. It's a lot. I freeze my hand halfway to my water glass. A burden, my chest tightens, and I force myself to keep signing, asking Mom about her garden. She answers in her usual cheerful way, but I'm barely listening. Clara's words echo sharp and cold. I glance at her, hoping to see some hint of regret, but she's already laughing at something Josie said. Josie leans closer to Clara now, her voice softer but clear to me. It's tough, right? Having to plan everything around her. She's so dependent. Dependent. The word lands like a slap. I've been living on my own for 3 years, paying my rent, working as a freelance graphic designer. I stopped taking Mom and Dad's money after college, even when they insisted. But Josie doesn't know that, and Clara doesn't correct her. I sign a question about the dessert, my fingers steady despite the storm inside me. I think back to when Clara and I were kids, sharing a room, her teaching me to sign sister with such patience. She'd sit cross-legged on my bed, her hands guiding mine, her smile wide. That Clara feels like a stranger now. Did she always feel this way? Has she been carrying this resentment all these years, waiting for a moment when she thought I couldn't hear? The dinner drags on, and I keep up the act, nodding, smiling, signing. But every word I overhear stings deeper. Clara complains about how Mom leans on her for everything, how my needs always come first. Aaron agrees, saying it's why they can't plan a vacation. Josie chimes in, her tone casual, like she's discussing the weather. It's just hard to see her as an adult sometimes. You know, I want to scream to tell them I've heard every word, but I don't. I don't know why. Maybe it's fear. Fear that if I speak, they'll turn it on me, say I'm overreacting. Or maybe I'm testing them, waiting to see if they'll say something kind, something to prove they don't mean it. But they don't. Mom calls for dessert, and I volunteer to help, needing air. In the kitchen, I grip the counter, the sound of the faucet dripping loud in my ears. I can hear Clara's laugh from the dining room, carefree, like she didn't just tear me apart. My joy from hearing again from those first moments of sound feels distant now, replaced by a hollow ache. What else have they said when they thought I couldn't hear, and why does it hurt so much to know they see me this way? Back in the dining room, I slide into my seat, the chatter around me a blur. The apple pie. Mom set out smells sweet, but my appetite's gone. I cut a small slice, pushing it around my plate, my hands shaking slightly. Clara's still talking to Josie, their heads closed, their voices low but sharp in my ears. I catch Aaron's eye and he gives me a quick smile, the kind you'd give a kid you're humoring. It stings more than I expect. I focus on the sounds. I'm still getting used to the scrape of Dad's knife against his plate, the soft clink of Mom's bracelet as she passes the cream. It's strange how these noises, so new and vivid, feel like they're mocking me now. I want to love them, to soak in every detail of this world I've been locked out of, but all I can hear is Clara's voice calling me a burden and Josie's labeling me dependent. Clara turns to me, signing quickly about her new project at work, something about marketing for a local brewery. I nod, forcing a smile, but my mind's elsewhere. I overhear her whisper to Aaron, "If I didn't have to stay local, I could have gone for that director role." Her tone's bitter, and Aaron murmurs something about family duty. I clench my fork, my knuckles white. She's blaming me for her choices as if I asked her to stay. Josie chimes in, her voice bright but cutting. "It's hard when someone's needs dictate your life, right? I mean, no offense, but it's a lot to handle." She's looking at Clara, not me, assuming I'm oblivious. I want to sign something sharp to call her out, but my hands stay still. I'm afraid of what might spill out if I let go. Mom notices my quietness and signs, asking if I'm okay. I nod, lying through my teeth, and sign back about a fake deadline at work. She seems satisfied, but Dad's watching me, his brow furrowed. For a moment, I think he might ask something real, but he just takes another sip of coffee and looks away. That small dismissal hurts almost as much as Clara's words. I think about the years I spent proving I could handle things on my own. The late nights learning to code, the clients I won through emails and video calls, the apartment I decorated with thrift store finds. I thought they saw me as capable, as someone who fought for her place in the world. But now I'm wondering if they ever did. Did they always see me as the fragile one? The one who needed saving? The conversation shifts to Aaron's new car, and I tune out, my thoughts spiraling. I remember Clara's face when we were teens, how she'd roll her eyes when Mom asked her to drive me to speech therapy. I thought it was just sibling annoyance, the kind that fades with time. But maybe it was more. Maybe she's been keeping score all along, tallying up every sacrifice she thinks she made for me. Josie laughs at something Aaron says, and I catch her saying, "It's like you're always on call for her, Clara. That's gotta wear you down." Clara doesn't disagree. She just shrugs her eyes, flicking to me for a split second before looking away. That glance feels like a knife twisting deeper. I want to stand up to tell them I've heard every word, to demand why they think I'm less than them. But I don't. I'm not ready to break this fragile mask I'm wearing. As we clear the table, I help stack plates needing to move. The clatter of dishes is loud, almost comforting, but it can't drown out the ache in my chest. I'm starting to see my family in a new light, and it's not the warm glow I'd hoped for. I drive home that night, the city lights blurring through my tears, wondering what else I'll hear if I keep pretending, and whether I'm strong enough to face it. I'm Elise, and it's the morning after that brutal dinner at my parents' house. I barely slept, Clara's words still ringing in my ears, calling me a burden. I'm in their backyard now, the air crisp with the scent of damp grass and blooming lilacs. Mom invited me over to help with her spring planting, but I'm here mostly to see if last night was a fluke, if maybe I misheard the resentment. The sun's barely up, and I'm kneeling in the dirt, pretending I can't hear the conversation drifting from the patio. Mom's sitting with Dad, their voices low but clear to me. She's stirring sugar into her tea, the spoon clinking against the mug. Dad's in his old flannel reading the paper, but he's listening. I keep my eyes on the tulip bulbs, signing to Mom about spacing them out, but my ears are locked on their words. "She's not trying hard enough," Harold, Mom says, her tone sharp. "She could be more independent if she just pushed herself." I pause my trowel halfway in the soil. My heart sinks heavy and cold. I've been on my own for years, scraping by on freelance gigs, never asking for a dime. But Mom doesn't see that. Dad grunts, folding his paper. "We've been carrying her too long. It's draining Diane. Carrying me, I nearly dropped the bulb in my hand. I stopped taking their money after college, even when they offered. I paid off my car, my rent, my groceries, all of it. My fingers dig into the dirt, the cool earth grounding me as I fight the urge to stand and scream. Instead, I sign to Mom, asking about fertilizer, my hands steady, despite the storm inside. Mom answers her smile forced, but I'm barely processing her words. I'm remembering the way Dad used to let me rest my hand on his chest as a kid, feeling the rumble of his voice when I couldn't hear it. That memory feels tainted now, like a lie. Have they always thought I was a weight they had to bear? I overhear Mom again, her voice softer, but no less cutting. Clara's had to pick up so much slack because of her. It's not fair. Dad nods, muttering about how they can't keep propping her up. I want to laugh bitter and sharp because I've been propping myself up for years. But the laugh doesn't come. Instead, there's a hollow ache spreading through me like ink in water. I keep planting my movements mechanical, but my mind's racing. I thought Clara's words last night were the worst of it, but this is deeper, uglier. My own parents. The ones who sat through countless doctor's appointments, who learned to sign for me, see me as a problem. I wonder if they've been saying this for years in moments they thought were safe from me. The back door creaks open, and I glance up expecting Clara or Aaron, but it's just the wind. Still, the sound jars me, a reminder of how much I'm hearing now, how much I wish I wasn't. I sign to Mom that I need a break, my hands trembling slightly, and head toward the shed for a moment alone. Inside, the air's musty smelling of old wood and motor oil. I lean against a workbench, my breath uneven, trying to make sense of this betrayal. I think about leaving, just walking away from this house, this family, but something keeps me here. Maybe it's stubbornness, or maybe I'm still hoping for a sign they don't mean it. But as I stand there, the sound of Mom's voice floats through the open window, saying my name again, paired with words like lazy and stuck. Each one lands like a stone, and I know this isn't over. It's only getting worse. I'm Elise, sitting in the shed, the air thick and stale, my hands gripping the edge of the workbench. Mom's words, lazy, stuck, echo in my head, each one a fresh cut. I want to march out and tell them I've heard everything, that I'm not the helpless daughter they've painted me as. But my feet stay rooted, heavy with doubt. What if they turn it around, say I'm too sensitive? I step out, wiping my hands on my jeans, and head back to the garden, forcing a neutral expression. Mom's alone now, pruning roses, her back to me. Dad's gone inside, probably to his recliner in the morning news. I kneel by the flower bed again, picking up a watering can, the slosh of liquid loud in my ears. I sign to Mom about the weather, keeping it light, but my chest feels like it's caving in. She responds with quick gestures, oblivious to the storm inside me. The normalcy of it all makes it worse, like I'm invisible even when I'm right here. I decide to leave, needing space to breathe. I sign a quick goodbye, claiming a work call, and drive to a coffee shop downtown, the one with the creaky wooden floors and mismatched chairs. The city hums around me. Car horns, footsteps, a distant siren, all sounds I'm still marveling at, but they feel hollow today. I order a latte, settling into a corner booth, hoping the bustle will drown out my thoughts. Bethany, my friend from high school, texts that she's nearby and wants to meet. I agree, craving someone who might see me differently. She arrives, her curly hair bouncing, her smile wide. We sign for a bit, catching up on her new job at a nonprofit. I'm about to relax when she steps away to take a call, standing by the window, her voice carrying back to me. Yeah, she's doing okay, I guess, Bethany says, her tone casual. But she plays up her struggles a lot, you know. It's exhausting to keep up with. My stomach drops. Plays up my struggles. I've spent years downplaying them, pushing through late nights to build my career, smiling through every setback. I stare at my coffee, the foam swirling, trying to convince myself I misheard. But her next words are clear. She's got this victim thing going on. Always has. I grip the edge of the table, my nails digging into the wood. Bethany's been my rock since we were teens, the one who sat with me after my diagnosis, who learned sign language just to talk with me. Was that all pity? I want to confront her, to ask why she'd say something so cruel. But I'm frozen, the weight of the past day pressing down. A barista, Marcus, notices me from behind the counter. He's got kind eyes and a faded tattoo on his wrist. He walks over, setting a fresh muffin on my table. Look like you could use a pick-me-up, he says softly. His voice is warm, the first sound today that doesn't hurt. I manage a small smile, signing a thank you, but it's all I can muster. Bethany comes back, oblivious, signing about her weekend plans. I nod, my responses short, my heart racing. I'm surrounded by people who think they know me, but they don't. Not Mom, not Dad, not Clara, not even Bethany. Every word I've overheard feels like a brick building a wall between me and the life I thought I had. As Bethany chats, I stare out the window, the city blurring past, wondering how much more I can take before I break. I'm Elise, and it's been 2 weeks since I overheard Bethany's betrayal at the coffee shop. I'm at Clara's house now, a cozy split level on the edge of Portland for a game night she insisted I join. The living room smells of popcorn and candle wax, fairy lights strung across the ceiling. I'm still pretending I can't hear, signing my way through small talk, but every sound, dice rolling, beer bottles clinking, feels like a spotlight on my secret. I'm here hoping for something, anything to show my family cares. Clara's at the card table, her laugh sharp as she shuffles a deck. Aaron's sprawled on the couch, scrolling his phone. Josie's here too, sipping wine, her earrings catching the light. Then there's Lila, Aaron's sister, who I've only met once. She's loud, her voice cutting through the room as she teases Aaron about his losing streak. I sit on the edge of an armchair, my hands folded, watching their lips catching words. I wish I could unhear. We start a round of charades and I play along, signing guesses, forcing smiles. But Clara leans toward Josie during a break, her voice low, thinking I'm clueless. We need to talk about her finances, she says, glancing at me. She's not managing well. We might have to step in. My breath catches. Managing, I've been budgeting every penny, saving for a new laptop, even donating to a local shelter. I grip the armrest, my nails digging in, but I keep my face neutral, signing to Lila about her turn. Josie nods, her tone practical. Yeah, it's for her own good. She can't handle it alone. Can't handle it. The words burn hotter than anything I've heard before. I want to shout that I've been handling it, that I've built a life they refuse to see. But I swallow it, my throat tight, and focus on the game. Aaron joins the conversation, chuckling. It's like babysitting at every family event. Gotta make sure she's okay. Babysitting. My chest aches, a deep bruising pain. I'm 29, not a child. Lila laughs, tossing her hair. You guys are saints for dealing with her. She's lucky you're so patient. Lucky the room feels smaller, the air harder to breathe. I sign a guess for the next charade, my hands trembling, but no one notices. I think about the nights I spent teaching myself to navigate a world of silence, the pride I felt when I landed my first client. I thought my family saw that strength, but they don't. They see a liability, someone to manage, to pity. The realization hits like a wave and I'm drowning in it. Clara calls for a snack break, and I volunteer to grab drinks from the kitchen, needing a moment to steady myself. The fridge hums a sound I'd once found comforting, but now it's just noise. I pull out a few sodas, my hands shaking, and as I turn, my elbow catches a glass on the counter. It falls shattering on the tile, the sound sharp and bright like a scream I can't release. The room goes quiet. Clara, Aaron. Josie and Lila stare at me, their eyes wide. I freeze, the broken glass at my feet, my secret teetering on the edge. They're waiting for me to sign, to explain, but I can't move. The weight of their words, their assumptions presses down, and I know I'm seconds from breaking. I'm Elise, standing in Clara's kitchen, the shattered glass sparkling on the floor, my heart pounding so loud it drowns out the silence from the living room. Clara's the first to move, rushing in her eyes, darting from the mess to me. Are you okay? She signs, her face a mix of worry and annoyance. I nod, my hands still, but my mind screaming. They're all watching now, Aaron, Josie, Lila, waiting for me to play the part of the helpless sister. I can't do it anymore. I bend to pick up the shards, my fingers trembling, and Clara kneels beside me, her voice low, not meant for me. She's so clumsy sometimes, she mutters to Josie, who's hovering by the doorway. Always something to clean up after her. Josie snickers and my blood boils. I'm not clumsy. I'm not a mess. I'm a person they've refused to see. Lila steps closer, her voice carrying a fake sweetness. It's fine, Clara. You're so good to her. Most people wouldn't bother. Most people. The words hit like a punch, stealing my breath. I'm not some charity case, not someone to tolerate. I grip a piece of glass too tightly, the sharp edge biting my palm, a sting that feels oddly grounding. Aaron chimes in, still on the couch, his tone light like he's joking. Yeah, it's a full-time job keeping tabs on her. Family events are basically a lease duty. The room laughs, a sound that slices through me raw and cruel. I'm shaking now, the glass in my hand, forgotten my secret burning in my throat. They've been talking like this all night, all my life, thinking I'd never know. I stand the broken pieces clattering back to the floor and face them. My voice rusty from disuse but clear cuts through the air. I've been hearing you, all of you, for weeks. The words spill out loud and unsteady and the room freezes. Clara's mouth drops her hands mid-sign. Josie's wineglass hovers near her lips. Aaron's phone slips to his lap. Lila's smirk vanishes. I heard you call me a burden, I say, my eyes locked on Clara. I heard you say, I'm a job, a problem, someone to manage. My voice cracks, but I keep going, turning to Josie. You think I'm dependent? I've been on my own for years. I look at Aaron, then Lila. And you? Laughing like I'm some joke you're stuck with. I heard it all. The silence is deafening, heavier than any sound I've ever known. Clara's face pales, her hands twitching like she wants to sign but can't. Josie stammers, Elise, we didn't mean, but I cut her off, my voice rising. You meant it. You all did. My chest heaves, tears prickling, but I don't let them fall. Not yet. I grab my coat from the chair, my movements jerky, and head for the door. Clara calls my name, her voice shaky, but I don't turn back. The fairy lights blur as I step into the cool night, the sound of my own footsteps loud in my ears. I'm empty, hollowed out, the weight of their words crushing me. I don't know what comes next, but I can't stay here surrounded by their lies. I'm Elise, and it's the morning after I stormed out of Clara's house, my voice still raw from spilling the truth. I'm in my Portland apartment, the sunlight filtering through my thrift store curtains, casting soft shadows on the hardwood floor. The quiet hum of my fridge is the only sound, a stark contrast to the chaos of last night. My hand stings from where the glass cut at a small bandage covering the wound. I'm exhausted, but something's shifting inside me, a spark I haven't felt in years. I sit at my kitchen table, a chipped mug of coffee in front of me, and pull out a notebook. My fingers trace the worn cover, and I start writing a letter to Clara. Not to send, not yet, but to get the words out. I write about the hurt, how her words slice through me, how I thought we were closer than that. Each sentence feels like peeling back a layer of myself, raw but necessary. I describe the years I fought to build a life, the pride I took in standing on my own, and how her assumptions crushed that. When I'm done, the pages are messy ink smudged from my grip, but I feel lighter, like I've reclaimed a piece of my voice. I tuck the letter into a drawer, not ready to decide its fate, and head out to clear my head. I drive to a community center across town, a place I volunteered at, sporadically teaching sign language to kids. Today I'm not scheduled, but I need something to anchor me. The center's buzzing when I arrive, the air thick with the smell of chalk and construction paper. Nora, the coordinator, spots me and waves me over. She's in her 40s with warm brown eyes and a no-nonsense braid. Elise, perfect timing. She signs her hands quick. We're short a teacher today. Can you take a group? I hesitate. My energy drained, but her trust in me feels like a lifeline. I nod, signing back that I'm in. The kids are a mix of ages, some hearing, some deaf, all eager. We sit in a circle on a colorful rug, and I start with basic signs, hello friend, play. Their small hands mimic mine, some clumsy, some precise, and I'm struck by how natural it feels to share this part of me. One girl, maybe 10, with bright purple glasses, signs her name Maya and asks why I learned to sign. I pause, then sign back, telling her I grew up deaf, that signing was my bridge to the world. I don't mention my hearing, not yet. Her eyes light up and she signs that her brother's deaf too. For the first time in days, I'm not thinking about Clara or my parents. I'm just here teaching, connecting. As the session ends, Nora pulls me aside. You're good with them, she says, her voice clear through my implant. Ever thought about leading a workshop? We could use someone like you regularly. Her words catch me off guard, a flicker of purpose igniting. I sign that I'll think about it, my mind racing with possibilities. For so long, I've let my family's view of me shape my worth. Maybe it's time to build something they can't touch. Driving home, I feel a quiet strength growing fragile but real. I'm not ready to forgive Clara or face my parents, but I'm done letting their words define me. The city blurs past the hum of traffic, a steady rhythm, and I know I'm just starting to find my way. I'm Elise, back in my apartment after teaching at the community center, the kids' laughter still echoing in my mind. The late afternoon light spills across my living room, warming the secondhand couch, where I'm curled up, a sketch pad balanced on my knees. I'm doodling something I haven't done in months, letting the pencil trace bold lines, sharp angles. It's not just art. It's me reclaiming a piece of myself that got buried under my family's words. My phone buzzes on the coffee table, and I see Bethany's name. She's been texting since she heard about my blow-up at Clara's, asking to meet. I've ignored her, but today something nudges me to respond. I agree to see her at the community center later, where I'm heading back for an evening session. I'm not sure I'm ready to forgive, but I know I need to face her to draw a line for myself. At the center, the air's cooler, now smelling of fresh paint from a mural the kids started. I'm setting up for another sign language class when Bethany walks in, her scarf loose around her neck, her eyes cautious. She signs a hesitant hello, and I nod, keeping my hands busy with flashcards. We sit on folding chairs, the room quiet, except for the faint hum of a heater. I heard what happened, she says, her voice soft, her hands still. I'm so sorry, Elise. I didn't know you could hear me at the coffee shop. What I said was awful. Her apology hangs there, sincere but incomplete. I take a breath, my voice steady. It's not just what you said, Bethany. It's that you thought it. That you saw me as some victim who exaggerates her life. She flinches, but I keep going. I've been fighting to be more than my deafness, and you didn't see that. I need people who do. She nods, tears welling, and signs that she wants to make it right. I don't absolve her, but I say we can talk more later if she respects my boundaries. It's not forgiveness, not yet, but it's me choosing who gets space in my life. She leaves, and I feel a weight lift, not gone, but lighter. The class starts, and I'm teaching the kids how to sign emotions, happy, sad, brave. Their faces light up, and I realize I'm not just teaching them, I'm learning too. Each sign feels like a promise to myself to feel what I feel without shame. Nora stops by, watching from the doorway, and afterward she pulls me aside again. That workshop idea, she says, her voice warm. Let's make it happen. You've got something special here. Her belief in me sparks something fierce. I agree to plan a weekly session, not just for kids, but for anyone wanting to learn sign language to share my story. It's a small step, but it feels like a leap, like I'm building a space where I'm seen for who I am, not who my family thinks I am. As I'm packing up, Marcus, the barista from the coffee shop, walks in. He's here for a book club, but spots me and grins. Heard you're a rock star teacher, he says, his voice easy. We chat, and he shares that he cut ties with his own family years ago, choosing friends who lift him up. His story hits close, and I feel a flicker of hope, like I'm not alone in this. I leave the center, the night air crisp against my skin. At home, I pull out my sketch pad again, but this time I don't draw. I sit still, the quiet of my apartment wrapping around me like a shield. My eyes settle on the drawer where Clara's letter waits, and I know I'm not the same person who wrote it. I'm choosing my path now, and it's mine alone. I'm Elise, and it's been 3 days since I set boundaries with Bethany and agreed to lead a workshop at the community center. My apartment feels quieter today. The morning light soft through the windows, catching on the edges of my sketch pad. I'm sipping tea, the steam curling upward when my phone lights up with a call from Mom. Her name on the screen twists my stomach, but I answer, bracing myself. Her voice is tight, asking why I've been distant, why I left Clara's so abruptly. I hesitate, the weight of my secret heavier now that I've started claiming my space. Can we talk in person? I say, my voice low. She agrees, and an hour later, I'm at my parents' house sitting on their worn leather couch, the smell of fresh coffee lingering in the air. Mom's across from me, her hands clasped, her eyes searching. Dad's in the kitchen out of sight, but listening, I can tell. I take a breath and let it out. I've been hearing Mom. For weeks. My implant works. Her face shifts, shock, giving way to something else, confusion, maybe hurt. I keep going, my words steady but sharp. I didn't tell you because I wanted to know what you really thought. And I heard you in the backyard saying, I'm not trying, that I'm draining you. Mom's mouth opens, then closes, her fingers tightening around each other. Elise, we didn't mean it like that, she says, but her voice wavers, defensive. You were listening to us. That's not fair. Her words sting like I'm the one who betrayed her. I shake my head, my throat tight. What's not fair is you thinking I'm a burden when I've been independent for years. Dad steps into the room, his coffee mug in hand, his expression hard. You spied on us, he says, not a question. That's low, Elise. I stare at him, the man who used to carry me on his shoulders, now looking at me like I'm a stranger. I didn't spy, I say, my voice rising despite myself. I heard the truth you never meant for me to know. The room feels smaller, the air thick with their silence. Mom's eyes glisten, but she doesn't speak. Dad sets his mug down, the clink loud in the quiet. We've done everything for you, he says, his tone heavy with accusation. And this is how you repay us. I want to scream that I've repaid them by building a life they refuse to see, but the words stick caught in the ache of their blame. I leave my steps heavy, the front door clicking shut behind me. Outside, the neighborhood is still the hum of a lawnmower distant. I drive to a nearby park, needing air, and sit on a bench by a pond, the water rippling under a gray sky. A man, Ethan, my neighbor, walks by with his daughter, a toddler with pigtails. He nods, recognizing me, and stops. Rough day. He asks, his voice kind but not prying. I nod, managing a small smile. He sits his daughter, tossing pebbles into the water, and shares that he rebuilt trust with her after a messy divorce. It's slow, he says, but you choose who gets your energy. His words settle into me, a quiet truth. But as I watch the ripples spread, my parents' defensiveness lingers, a cold knot in my chest, freezing me in place. I'm Elise, sitting by the pond. Ethan's words about choosing who gets my energy still settling in. The water's surface catches the fading light, and I'm trying to hold on to that small spark of clarity, but my parents' accusations cling to me, heavy and sharp. I head home, the drive a blur of streetlights and soft radio static. My mind stuck on Mom's defensive tone, Dad's cold stare. At my apartment, I pull out the letter I wrote to Clara, rereading my own hurt, and decide it's time to send it. I type it up, my fingers steady on the keyboard, and email it to her, outlining my pain and the boundaries I need. No ultimatums, just truth. I hit send, the click of the mouse loud in the quiet. Almost instantly, my phone pings with her reply, a short message, not what I expected. I'm sorry you felt hurt, she writes, but I was just being honest. Let's talk soon. Honest. The word feels like a dodge, her apology thin, more about her than me. I set the phone down, my chest tight, and pace my living room, the rug soft under my feet. Her response isn't the reconciliation I'd half hoped for, nor the rejection I feared. It's worse, lukewarm, careful, like she's tiptoeing around my feelings without owning her part. I think of her quick smile at family dinners, the way she'd sign with such ease, and wonder if I ever really knew her. The next evening, Dad shows up at my door unannounced. He's in his old jacket, his face lined and tired, holding a takeout bag from my favorite Thai place. Thought you might be hungry, he says, his voice gruff. I let him in, the smell of lemongrass filling the room, but the air between us is heavy. We sit at my small table picking at pad Thai, and I wait for him to speak. I was wrong, he says, finally, his eyes on his plate, about what I said. But it's hard, Elise. We've been worried about you forever. His admission is raw, but it's laced with something else, maybe resentment. He doesn't look at me, just keeps eating, like saying sorry fixes it all. I nod, my throat tight, but his words don't reach the ache inside. They're too late, too small. I clear the plates, the clink of dishes sharp, and he leaves soon after his goodbye brief. Alone, I stand by my window, the city's hum faint through the glass. Clara's half-hearted email, Dad's grudging apology. They're all I have from the family I thought I knew. Ethan's story about rebuilding trust feels distant now, like a path I can't yet walk. I'm not angry anymore, just empty, staring at the lights below, wondering if I'll ever feel whole again. I'm Elise, and it's a quiet Saturday morning a week after Dad's visit and Clara's half-hearted email. I'm at a local library, one I've always loved for its tall windows and smell of old books. The space feels like a sanctuary today, sunlight streaming through the glass, dusting the shelves with a golden glow. I'm here to prepare for a community event. I'm organizing a sign language workshop where I'll share my story. It's a step I never thought I'd take, but it feels right, like I'm finally building something of my own. I'm at a wooden table surrounded by notes and a laptop. The soft tap of my fingers on the keys blending with the library's hum. I'm outlining my talk, jotting down moments from my life growing up deaf, regaining my hearing, the sting of my family's words. Writing it out is hard, but it's also freeing, like I'm piecing myself back together word by word. The library's calm wraps around me, steadying my nerves. A young woman, Sadie, approaches my table. She's a volunteer here, barely 19, with a shy smile and a stack of books in her arms. She signs a quick hello, her movements hesitant, and asks if she can sit. I nod, curious, and we start chatting mostly in sign. She tells me she's been learning for her cousin who's deaf, but also because she feels invisible in her own family. They don't really hear me, she signs, her eyes downcast. Not the way I want. Her words hit close, stirring a quiet ache, but not the raw pain I felt weeks ago. I sign back, sharing that I felt that too, like my voice didn't matter. I tell her about the workshop, how I'm trying to create a space where people can connect, be seen. Her face lights up, and she asks if she can help with the event. I want to do something that matters. She signs, her hands more confident now. We spend an hour planning, sketching out flyers, picking a playlist for the event. Sadie's excitement is contagious, and I find myself smiling, really smiling for the first time in weeks. Mentoring her feels like a gift, a chance to guide someone the way I wish I'd been guided. I see my younger self in her, unsure, searching, and it makes me want to show her she's enough just as she is. As we work, I realize I'm not just organizing an event. I'm claiming my place in the world. My family's words still linger, but they don't define me anymore. I'm choosing to build, to connect, to matter. Sadie heads off to shelve books, and I lean back in my chair, the library's soft hum filling the silence. Outside, the world moves on, but in here, I'm steady breathing, slow, ready for what's next. I'm Elise, still at the library, my notes for the workshop scattered across the table, Sadie's enthusiasm lingering like a soft echo. The afternoon's fading now, the light through the windows turning amber, casting long shadows across the room. I pack up my things, the rustle of papers a quiet rhythm, and head home feeling steadier than I have in weeks. My apartment greets me with its familiar warmth, the scent of lavender from a candle I lit last night still faint in the air. I'm putting my bag down when I spot an old photo on my bookshelf tucked between novels. It's me and Clara, maybe 12 and 15, at a county fair, our faces sticky with cotton candy, her arms slung around my shoulders. I pick it up, the frame cool in my hands, and stare at her smile, so unguarded then. A pang hits me. Not the sharp pain of betrayal, but a softer ache, like missing something I can't quite name. I set the photo down and move to my couch, curling up with a blanket. The memory of that fair day washes over me, Clara signing to me about the Ferris wheel, her hands dancing in the summer heat, making sure I wasn't left out. That girl feels so far from the Clara who called me a burden, but she's still part of us. I don't hate her, I realize. I just can't carry her expectations anymore. My phone buzzes, and it's Marcus, the barista, inviting me to a small gathering at his place tonight. Just a few friends, low-key, his text reads. I hesitate, my instinct to retreat still strong, but something pulls me forward. I reply that I'll come, and as I get ready, pulling on a sweater and jeans, I feel a quiet shift. I'm not hiding anymore, not from my family or myself. Marcus's apartment is a short walk away, a cozy space filled with mismatched furniture and the smell of fresh-baked bread. His friends are warm, their laughter easy, and for the first time in a long time I feel seen not as the deaf girl, not as the family burden, but as Elise, someone with stories and strength. We play a board game, and I sign my moves, teaching them a few words. Their curiosity is genuine, their smiles real. Later, Marcus and I step onto his tiny balcony, the city lights twinkling below. He doesn't pry, just stands beside me, the cool air brushing our faces. "You seem different tonight," he says, his voice soft. I nod, not explaining but feeling the truth of it. I'm not whole yet, but I'm building something new, something mine. Back home, I sit by my window, the night still and clear. The photo of Clara stays on the shelf, a piece of my past. I'm not ready to pack away, but don't need to hold so tightly. I breathe slow, the hum of the city, a gentle pulse, and let myself rest in this moment, quiet and sure, carrying me forward. I'm Elise, and it's a crisp fall evening, a month since that quiet night at Marcus's apartment. I'm at the community center, the room aglow with string lights, the air humming with chatter. Tonight's my first sign language workshop, a space I've carved out to share my story and teach others. The tables are set with name tags and handouts, the scent of fresh coffee mingling with the faint tang of whiteboard markers. I'm nervous, but it's a good kind, the kind that feels like growth. People trickle in, kids, parents, a few curious adults, their faces a mix of excitement and uncertainty. Sadie's here helping me set up, her purple glasses glinting as she signs quick jokes to ease my nerves. Nora's in the back, giving me a thumbs up, her presence steadying me. I take a deep breath, my hands resting on the podium, and start speaking, my voice clear through the microphone, a sound I'm still learning to trust. I tell them about my life growing up deaf, the silence that shaped me, and the moment my world filled with sound again. I share the harder parts too, the sting of being unseen, the choice to build something new. My words flow not perfect but honest, and the room listens, their eyes locked on me, some signing along. It's not about being inspiring, it's about being real, showing them that struggle and strength can coexist. A woman in the front row, maybe my age, signs a question about how I kept going after feeling alone. I pause, thinking of the nights I sat in my apartment, the weight of my family's words heavy on my chest. I found people who saw me, I say, glancing at Sadie and Nora. And I started seeing myself differently too. She nods, her expression soft, and I feel a connection, like I'm not just teaching but building a bridge. The workshop wraps up, and people linger, sharing stories, practicing signs. A teenage boy tells me he wants to learn for his deaf neighbor, and I show him how to sign friend, his grin wide as he gets it right. Sadie hands out flyers for the next session, her energy infectious, and I realize this is what I've been working toward, a space where I'm not defined by my past but by what I create. As we clean up, Nora pulls me aside. "You did good, Elise," she says, her voice warm. "This is just the start." I smile, feeling the truth of it. The room empties, and I step outside, the night air cool against my skin, the stars faint above the city's glow. I walk home, my steps light the hum of the evening settling around me. The hurt from my family hasn't vanished, but it's quieter now, like a bruise that's starting to fade. I'm here whole in this moment, ready to keep going. I'm Elise, back in my apartment after the workshop, the city's quiet hum seeping through my open window. The glow of a single lamp lights my desk, where a small journal lies, a gift from Ethan, my neighbor. Its leather cover is soft under my fingers, and I open it, the blank pages waiting. I start writing, not a letter this time, but a map of where I'm going, dreams I haven't dared name before. A trip to the coast, a new design project, maybe a dog. Small things, but mine. As I write, Clara's face flickers in my mind. She showed up at the workshop unannounced, standing in the back, her expression unreadable. Afterward, we talked, not long, but enough. She admitted she'd been wrong, her voice soft, her hands still. "I didn't see you," she said, and I believed her. We didn't hug or promise to fix everything, but we agreed to try one step at a time. It's not a fairy tale ending, but it's real, and that's enough for now. Marcus stops by later, dropping off a loaf of his homemade bread, the crust warm and crackling. We sit on my couch sharing slices, and he talks about his own journey choosing friends over a family that never understood him. His story mirrors mine, and I feel a quiet strength knowing I'm not alone. Sadie texts me a photo of the workshop flyer, her excitement spilling through the screen, and I smile grateful for her spark. I think about the boy from the workshop signing friend with such pride, and the woman who asked how I kept going. Their stories wove into mine, reminding me that healing isn't just about me, it's about the spaces we create for others. I've spent so long carrying my family's view of me, letting it shape my edges, but I'm done. I'm not their burden, nor their project. I'm Elise, and I choose who I become. The lesson isn't loud or grand. It's in the way I set down my pen, the journal filled with possibility. It's in forgiving Clara not because she deserves it, but because I deserve peace. It's in knowing that strength isn't about being unbroken, it's about rebuilding piece by piece and letting yourself be whole even with scars. I close the journal, the lamp's light steady, and feel a calm I've earned rooted deep. What's a moment that made you choose yourself? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. It's how we connect, how we grow. If this touched you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Thank you for listening, for being here. Here's to healing, to new beginnings, and to finding your own light. Good night.